The sun hung low over the rolling hills, casting a golden hue upon the modest cabin where Jed Clampett lived his humble life. Jed was a man of simple pleasures, a mountaineer whose existence was defined by the rugged terrain and the quiet rhythm of the woods. He spent his days tending to his small patch of land, always keeping a watchful eye on his family, ensuring they were fed and sheltered against the biting winds of the changing seasons. It was a life of modest means, but filled with a peculiar kind of peace that only those who lived close to nature could truly understand. One ordinary afternoon, while Jed was out hunting to secure the evening meal, his rifle cracked through the stillness of the air. The bullet did not strike a beast, but rather, it breached the thin crust of the earth, unleashing something entirely unexpected. From the dark, rich soil came a thick, bubbling liquid, a substance that would soon alter the trajectory of their lives forever. It was oil, the black gold that men dreamed of, the Texas tea that promised a future beyond the confines of their mountain home. Before long, the news traveled faster than a mountain breeze, and Jed found himself transformed into a man of immense wealth. The transition was jarring, a stark contrast to the world he had always known. The kinfolk, gathered around with wide eyes and hushed voices, urged him to leave the familiar peaks behind. They spoke of California, a land of promise and luxury, a place where fortunes were made and dreams were realized beneath the endless blue sky. Trusting their counsel, Jed and his family loaded up their weathered truck, leaving behind the only life they had ever known to settle in the shimmering landscape of Beverly Hills. It was a world of swimming pools that glistened like liquid diamonds and movie stars who walked with an air of effortless grace. They were the Beverly Hillbillies, a name that would soon become synonymous with their unique blend of sincerity and bewilderment in a place that seemed built on artifice. Life in the mansion was a whirlwind of confusion and unintended comedy. Back at the grand residence, Miss Walsh entered with a stack of papers, her demeanor precise and professional, intending to deliver them to Mr. Drysdale. She found the house in a state of disarray, a menagerie that defied all logic and order. The mansion, which should have been a temple of sophistication, had been repurposed into something akin to a chaotic zoo. Miss Hathaway, ever the mediator in this strange unfolding saga, looked on with a mix of horror and resignation. She had been tasked with overseeing the household and the curious creatures that roamed within its walls. Jethro, ever eager but often misguided, was busy in the kitchen, attempting to prepare pancakes for a hungry bear, his logic as scrambled as the eggs he was trying to cook. It was a scene of domestic absurdity that left Miss Hathaway grasping for composure. She had to get on a plane to the hills, she decided, for it was the only way to retrieve the family and restore a sense of normalcy to their lives. Meanwhile, back in the hills, the atmosphere was festive as the locals gathered for the annual fair. Jed, however, was preoccupied with his daughter, Ellie Mae. The town was buzzing with the excitement of a cake-baking contest for all the single girls, and the prospect of a young man serving as the judge weighed heavily on his mind. Ellie Mae, though a heart of gold, possessed culinary skills that were, to put it mildly, quite disastrous. Jed knew that if she entered her concoction into the contest, it would be a disaster of epic proportions. He searched for her through the bustling crowd, his heart set on preventing her from participating, hoping to spare her the embarrassment. Granny, on the other hand, was busy orchestrating her own agenda, ever determined to secure a husband for Ellie Mae, believing that a wedding would be the perfect solution to their situation. She was in her element, maneuvering through the crowd with the sharpness of a hawk, her eyes constantly scanning for suitable prospects. The fairgrounds were a sensory overload of sights and sounds. The scent of sweet treats mingled with the dust kicked up by the dancers. Alberna Bradshaw, a woman with a penchant for rivalry and a rather striking, if eccentric, hat, sparred with Granny at every turn. Their banter was as sharp as a razor, a long-standing dance of insults and witticisms that had persisted for years. Mr. Kellens, the local businessman, was busy organizing the event, trying to accommodate the odd requests of the townspeople, from finding live white doves for a wedding reception to dealing with the chaotic aftermath of dropped cakes. Through it all, The square dance music pulsed with an infectious energy. Ellie Mae, oblivious to her father's frantic efforts to hide her culinary creations, found joy in the simple pleasures of the day. She moved through the festivities with an innocence that stood in stark contrast to the calculated schemes of those around her. As the day progressed, the lines between the ridiculous and the profound began to blur. The medicinals sold by Chick Allen, accompanied by his spirited dance, brought a touch of nostalgia and tradition to the modern spectacle. Granny, keeping her word to help sell the potions, found herself the center of attention as she endorsed the magic mud packs, her natural wit charming the audience. The crowd was enchanted, and for a fleeting moment, the weight of their newfound wealth and the complexity of their lives in Beverly Hills faded into the background. They were just people, gathering under the sun, sharing in the simple, honest traditions of their home. Yet, underneath the laughter and the music, the longing for the hills remained. The decision to stay or return was a silent thread running through their conversations, a testament to the fact that no matter how much gold one might possess, the heart often craved the simple ground upon which it was first planted. The afternoon wore on, and the sun began to dip behind the horizon, painting the sky in shades of amber and violet. The fair was a triumph of community spirit, a reminder that at the core of all human endeavor, there lay a desire for connection and understanding. Jed watched his daughter, Ellie Mae, dancing with a light-hearted abandon, and he realized that perhaps his fears were unfounded. She was happy, and in that happiness, there was a beauty that no contest or prize could ever capture. The complexity of their world, the $85 million in their accounts, the mansions, and the movie stars, all felt like a distant dream when compared to the simple joy of a shared laugh and a song played on a fiddle. As the final notes of the music faded, the people began to disperse, carrying with them the memories of the day. Granny, tired but satisfied, leaned on her cane, a small smile playing on her lips. She had done her best, and in her own way, she had helped to weave the fabric of their family history just a little tighter. Jed stood by her side, the cool night air refreshing after the heat of the day. They were a family, forged in the fires of hard work and tempered by the surprises of fate. They had come a long way from the poor cabin on the hillside, but as they stood there, looking out over the silent hills, they knew that some things never changed. The land, the memories, and the bond of kinship remained, a constant anchor in a life that had become increasingly turbulent. In the end, it was not the fortune that defined the Clampetts, but the spirit with which they navigated the challenges of their new life. They were a testament to the enduring power of sincerity in an often insincere world. Their story, a tapestry of laughter, love, and the pursuit of happiness, served as a beacon of hope for those who dared to believe that, no matter where life might lead, the essence of who they were would always remain the same. It was a journey of 1,000 miles, a tale of transformation and discovery, and above all, a story of a father who just wanted his daughter to find her own path, and a family that, despite all their differences, would always find their way back home.